So in my last video I explained how I went about building this guitar. This one that you see here, this 335 style guitar that I'm not hiding the headstock because it has Gibson written on it. The more I think about it, the more I understand why kit guitars are a thing. I often compared it to just buying an affordable guitar. Why would you spend £300 on a kit guitar, which you could go on the used market and get something similar? And if you're looking at it through the eyes of, at the end, you get an instrument to play live, or to play at home, or just to play, right? That's fine, that's a fair assessment. There's loads of great instruments that are factory built and great and come with great specs, great finishes, with things that you can just enjoy. So with that being said, let's look into a few of the reasons why building a kit guitar is such an enjoyable experience, and why does it make sense to do it instead of buying an affordable guitar. First, we have to think about personal achievement and the possibility of customization. A lot of the kits that you can buy, you are able to choose if it's black or cream fittings, if you get chrome or gold hardware, if it is a semi-hollow, if it is a Les Paul, if it is a Telecaster style, if it's a Strat style, if it's a Junior, if it's some sort of PRS, if it's some sort of strange design, and you can go for a lot of different prices, but you can choose that straight away. Even if they don't have the exact plastics and hardware that you like, you can always go ahead and buy it yourself and just make sure that it fits on the guitar that you're building. You can also change things like the color, the way that it's finished, if it's like some sort of gloss, if it's satin, if it's distressed or relic. If you were going to try to make something really crazy or something a bit more straightforward, if it needs to be really perfect to your standards, or you can sort of make a guitar that's 6 foot from a distance that sort of looks alright. And then as you're building it, and as you're putting things together, and as you're planning, it really is rewarding. You get this feeling of, I'm doing something here, a bit of craftsmanship. It's not luxury. I wouldn't call it luxury, because you're not cutting the wood and bending the wood and making sure that everything fits together. That job has already been done for you. Then we have to look at the journey that you take. It goes from the box that you arrive to seeing online and seeing what everyone says, to actually figuring out how to go about it and getting into it. Steve Cassidy says that I should be called the Nike, or just Nike, I don't know, because I'm just like, just do it. I was like, I never glued a neck before, but clamp it, glue it, and clamp it, and that was it. I never drilled a cavity before in my life, but I went ahead and did it. I never cut a headstock, but it was the first thing that I did when I got the guitar. I had never clamped a veneer to a headstock, and that's what the last thing that I did to the guitar. All these things, sometimes you just have to go ahead and try it, because if someone else does that for you, it's not really your experience. If you go to a luthier or to a friend and say, oh, could you glue the neck for me? You're missing out. The point is, like, I did this, now I'm able to do this. Like, I tried this crazy thing that I thought only people of a certain skill level were able to do, and now I can do it too, which is really rewarding. There's no price that you can put to that, to learn to check out the neck angle and to work on the frets and to realize the bridge. Those are all things that you over time realize, and sometimes over a few different kits, and it's really, really fun. Like, it took me a good 20 to 30 hours to put this guitar together. And that was time that I could have been playing video games, or could watching a show. I often compared it to building Lego, not to building IKEA, which is just frustrating, but to building Lego or to doing a craft. You know, so many people do craft just for fun. This is that sort of enjoyment that you get of, like, using your hands and cutting and doing things. I'll just warn you, don't do things in a rush in terms of like, oh, I had this idea, I'm gonna do it now, even though you're like tired and stressed. Those always go wrong. But there's a really interesting joy in just using the time to build something. We all want to be unique in one way or another, unless we don't want to be unique at all and want to copy exactly what our heroes have used before. And kit guitars really allow you to do both those things. Like, I don't think Gibson or Epiphone or any brand at the moment has a semi-hollow that is exactly this color, like phthalo blue or Prussian blue with a few hints of purple, with a slightly darker navy back with see-through grain and a matte neck and a gloss top. and the ebony veneer top. There is nothing like this. But maybe the next guitar that I buy and I do is going to be a butterscotch telly that exactly has the one that Bruce Springsteen uses. And both are valid choices, and both can be achievable. Which is not the same that, oh, I'm just gonna go buy whatever's in the store or gonna spend a lot of money on a custom shop. You know, the premium of the custom shop, it's at an arm's length to do. Another thing that I've noticed by both refinishing guitars and by building this one, assembling, is that it does improve my ability to work on guitars bit by bit. By experience, exercising, training, and learning more about it, I've come to learn how to find high frets more easily, how to sand them and to roll them and also do those other things, how to get some sort of glossy finish, which is the first one that I really get successful, because up until here I've been struggling to get something that I was quite happy with. How to sand to remove material, how to wet sand, how to wire pickups and electronics, how to adjust strings at the nut, how to install tuners, how to string a guitar. All those things are skills that are important for you to learn, and I think they really flow well with the mindset of, I'm building this guitar and I'm going to learn how to do these other things. So the end result is not just, I've put everything together, I sort of painted, and now I'm going to take it to a tech to set up perfectly. Obviously, maybe there's things that I didn't do well, and there's definitely finishing touches that could be better, as my wife often reminds me. There's a few around the binding, and there's, when I put the mat on the neck, there is a slight line that I can feel on the edge of the bounce. I've noticed that just today, just now while I was recording this, that the veneer has lifted here a bit, so I didn't quite glue it all the way. I was afraid of getting too much glue to then spill out, but I clearly should have done that. But this is a process that next time that I'll know. And I hadn't done this before. Like, I used a circular saw to cut the back of this plywood body, and I'd never done that before, and now I know how to do it, and next time I'll do it better. And then I glued wood bits underneath, which I had never done before, and now I know to do it, and now I can do it better. And then I went on to the Gibson website and I saw what sort of setup that they use, and they use these sort of top hat knobs, and I ordered these switch, that the switch alone was £3 to get to me. But now I'm happy. So you can always make sure that these things are right. I've set up the bridge, the Nashville bridge, that I had never done before. So you can always go look into these things. Now, could you improve the quality of the hardware, at least in price? Sure, you can. You can go out and can buy the Gotos and all the other brands that sell hardware and pickups. And then, because you assemble this guitar, you'll know how to do it yourself as well. So it's really cool in that regard. So while it is true that you could buy, this kit was £200, right? The stains were another £20. The finishing was another £20. Let's say that the sandpaper is included in that price, because some of the sandpaper was that. Let's say that I spent £260 all in all, with the knobs and the switch and headstock veneer and everything. I could have bought a Harley Benton HB35 Plus for less. Is it what I wanted? No, because the design is slightly different. I could have bought an Epiphone and tried to refinish, but do I think I would have been able to remove the material on a semi-hollow body, especially in the curves, and not damage the binding? I don't think so. Would I go ahead and change the headstock? Probably not. These are the sort of things that I've tried, and would I've learned how to do a gloss finish? Would I've learned how to apply the matte solution on the back of the neck? Would I have learned the difficulty that it is to install this and learn how to cut plywood? Probably not. Would I have learned how to scrape binding? Maybe, because painting a guitar sometimes requires that. But it really is interesting to look at a DIY kit not as just, I'm paying this amount of money to get a guitar in the end, is I'm paying this amount of money to have a hobby for a couple of weeks, or for however long, because I continue to do things to it that I see and I want to change, I want to improve. Something that is accessible to me, a guitar that I feel as my own rather than something that I just bought. Even the aspect that there's very little resale value often in these sort of things, which I might address later, and I try to like sell it to see if that's really true. Sort of keeps the guitar with you, or you could give it to a friend or to a mate or to someone. It's like, oh no, I built this. I was thinking of you. I know that you like these colors and you like this setup, and I've built this and I want to give it to you. Something fun and different and more unique than just buying. We always bombarded with this materialistic view of buy. And although this requires buying, the enjoyment didn't come from the finding the thing and getting the thing. It was building the thing, which is one step removed, I think. So these are just some of the reasons why I think building a DIY kit is really fun, really enjoyable, really rewarding, and that you should try. It doesn't need a lot of material or a lot of space, and I'll try to show that in some of my next videos. Until then, take care, bye bye.